Bagseed Chronicles.
And so that video may have been manically posted.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Bagseed Chronicles. I am your humble host, Uncle Dig. I know it's been a while. For those of you who haven't been along for the journey, my wife has been sick, so I haven't been able to devote as much attention to this. Life happens, right? This is a hobby horse, yada, yada, yada. So I want you to know that this is going to continue marching on at whatever pace I'm able to release at. But today I have a wonderful interview for you with Tye Tokes again. And we had a wonderful conversation. It was a little informal and we strayed off topic a bit, but I think you will genuinely enjoy it. But before that, I bet you're wondering what's going on in my garden. Uncle Dig's garden update. So right now, I don't have any living plants in my garden. I only have 2 plants hanging in my garage, and those are the 2 tangerine dreams we talked about last week. Once those are done drying, I will clean all 4 grow tents, and I will be off to the races. And I'll keep y'all updated on what's going on with that in the next garden update, hopefully. We'll see what happens. I've got a lot of cleaning to do before I can start my next seeds, which I hope to be alien OG feminized. Let's overgrow the world. If you enjoy the Bagseed Chronicles, please consider sharing it with a friend. After all, the best bag seeds are. All right, everyone, please welcome to the Bagseed Chronicles, Tye Tokes. Tye Tokes is a cannabis professional in the retail space, a content creator on YouTube, and maybe creating some audio content soon. Hey, Tye, how's your day going?
Dude, it's going good. Thanks for having me. I love being on your show. This is the second time, I think.
Yeah, this is number 2, man.
Yeah. It's exciting. I've already been plugging you in my Facebook because I just get so pumped to do these things. So it's cool.
I really enjoy having you on, and you brought a different kind of audience than I was normally having.
Yeah.
Yeah, of all places, you broke me into Singapore.
Honestly, I don't know how I did that other than like maybe TikTok. I know like I do reels and stuff on Facebook, but like I don't know anybody from there.
Right. I have no idea. I'm like, I don't know. I was trying to figure it out. And I'm like, sometimes there's no rhyme or reason to it, for the longest time, no one, because I can't see very detailed information, but I can see like what country and like what province. And if it's a bigger town, what town that people are listening in. But beyond that, I can't see anything.
That's still so crazy. I'm like, I would have never guessed, I'm like, I just assume people, because I look at my like insights and stuff, but the majority of people that watch me are from America. And so I'm like,
Right.
man, I'm like, that's weird, but I appreciate it. I appreciate the love from wherever it's coming from.
Righteous. Yeah. And I'm afraid to thank listeners from certain countries where I feel like I'm more popular, because I'm afraid that if I'm like, hey, thank you to this country, they'll be like, oh no, he knows that we're listening, and they'll stop listening if they're as paranoid as me.
Right.
But
like somebody, they know.
How do they know
watching.
where I am?
Yeah.
If he knows, what else do they know?
Yeah.
What are you smoking on today, man?
Actually, I just picked up some Double Down dabs. It's a
Okay.
brand that we have here in Oklahoma. I got some green crack.
Oh, okay. A
Yeah.
classic.
Yeah. I seen that, and it looks like this like white butter almost. So I was like,
Okay.
this looks delicious. Like I
All
need
right.
it.
That's awesome.
What are you smoking on?
Well, I had a joint of some cannabis that was grown in Williams, Oregon, that a friend gave to me called Velvet Cherry Lime.
Ooh.
And I rolled that into a joint and had that before we came on. And then during the show, I am vaping on a vape cart that I cannot remember anything about other than it's an indica. So there we go. That's what we're doing.
Dude, I feel that. I went live on my Facebook because that's what I've been doing here recently. I call it toke time.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And so I had one of the influencers of Oklahoma, Randy K. That was so cool. We were smoking, and she was like, "What are you smoking on?" And I was like,
Oh,
I got this from a farm. It's either this or this.
I don't know, some free shit, you know?
Literally. I'm like, I'm just glad to be here.
Yeah, you know what? I think this is from Buddy's Cannabis. No, I don't know who this is from. Who is this? Okay, I don't know. I have no clue. I'm so sorry. I don't have any clue. I tried
No,
to
you're
guess and I
good.
don't think I'm right.
No, you're good. It's just nice to know that somebody else is also like me. I'm like, sometimes I forget what I get. Like I smoke this stuff, you know?
And I would love to tell you it's some fancy stuff, but it's literally distillate. So it's not even it's
Hey,
just like,
nothing wrong with that.
but I carts last me so long. Like I've had this thing for probably like 3 months.
Dang, see if I get a cart, I smoke that thing down quick. I don't know why, but it's just like the habit of having it.
Are
Actually, I do
you
know
are you
why.
are you smoking a lot of flower though?
Actually, I have been doing a whole lot of everything. So,
Okay, good.
yeah. So, I've been focusing on like the whole like podcast, getting up and going, and the whole lives and stuff. And so, I've been really upping my tolerance because people online they like to hate on you if you don't smoke big. So,
You know, man, like, okay, so like you don't do not like I would say, and this is just from someone who I do consume a lot.
right,
Um and I do smoke big and I'm not pretending whatever. Okay. Like I've smoked a
right,
lot of
right,
weed. And it turns out if you go online, Snoop Dogg showed everybody the roaches. So he
right,
finally put to bed. It's like 8 or 9 blunts a day. That's it. So
right.
on some days I smoke more weed than fucking Snoop Dogg. So and a lot of us found out that we smoke more weed than Snoop Dogg and we don't know how to feel about it. Okay. That happened
Right.
recently. Okay. I one day I was like, Snoop Dogg smokes more weed than me, and then Snoop's like, nah, man, this is the roaches. That's it. And I'm like,
Yeah, he's like,
oh
nah.
fuck, I smoke more weed than Snoop Dogg. How'd I get here? Like, you know, so like it wasn't it wasn't even a revelation. You know, it was just like, okay, I'm that guy
Right,
now.
right,
Here I
right.
am.
Dang, it kind
Um,
of put into perception of how much I've been smoking too. I'm like, shit, I'm that guy now too.
right. But what I was gonna say is like, you shouldn't let the crowd drive your consumption. You know,
Right,
like
right,
if you want to do bigger and bigger bong rips because it's some sort of weird mountain you want to climb,
right,
that's awesome. That's great. Climb that mountain. But if you're like competing with other people,
right.
especially people who you're not actually competing with, it's one thing to enter a friendly bong rip contest. I've done that. That's fun. I lost a bong rip contest to a little person from Canada. Um,
It's the little
on
person.
yes, she's I don't know if she would refer to herself as a little person, but she's under like 5 feet. And
Gotcha.
she I sat there and I think what was it? I almost smoked in one sitting through 2 bongs. I smoked a little over a half an ounce.
Damn, my guy.
And then I was like, but I was at the end, I was having trouble. Like, I was just having trouble, Tye. I was just having
Yeah,
trouble. I don't know
yeah.
how to describe it. I was just having trouble. My eyes were like trying to close on me. It was wild. But she smoked me under the table. It was pretty epic.
Oh, that's
Um,
hilarious.
yeah, it was pretty awesome. I learned some things about myself and about other people that day. Um, and you know what's funny? She said I surprised her because she didn't think she was going to be in her room as long as she was.
Oh my god. Oh shit.
So yeah, sorry. Anyway,
No, no. That was
but yeah, what were we talking about? Oh yeah, is there anything going on new? So you're working on the podcast.
yeah, yeah.
Where are
I've
you
been
at in that? Are you writing up episodes? Have you recorded anything?
I haven't recorded anything, but we are writing up episodes, and I say we as in me. I always refer to myself like a team or something like
I do
that.
that too. I'll be like, yeah, us at the bags. Like, no, it's me.
Yeah,
It's me, and then it's me, and then it's
right,
it's me, but really high. So those are the two guys you're working with.
right. My two personalities, you get it.
Right? Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, so I've got a couple episodes under I guess review. I've just got to finalize the dates for when those are going to happen. But right now, I've been focusing on gathering like local people, either in the industry or local artists, and just getting to know their stories. I keep saying it, but I want to be the Oprah of weed.
The
Like
Oprah of weed. Oh man.
literally,
I don't
because
know if that's a
Oprah,
good thing to shoot for. Oprah's had some problems over the years. She sped on some problematic horses.
you know, Oprah without the problems.
Oh, Oprah without the problems. So
Yeah,
like,
I'll take no
who is
problems.
Oprah without the problems? Is that Rosie O'Donnell? Is that who it is? No, wait. Oprah
It's
without.
actually Tye Tokes.
Okay, we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. Okay, we'll get there eventually.
Oh shit, yeah,
What the
but
fuck ever happened to Rosie O'Donnell? She was great.
great woman.
I
She
think she.
figured
I
out.
think she. I think she just decided she didn't want to play anymore. I think that's honestly what happened.
Honestly, though, I think when you get to a certain point, I think I understand that.
Yeah, I totally do. Yeah.
Because like right now, like I have, there's a handful of people that I feel like listens and watches me online and stuff, but that day that I get to like millions, I think that might be a little overwhelming. It's exciting, but it's going to be overwhelming, I think.
Yeah. I don't necessarily aspire to that. If it happens, that would be neat. But
Right.
I think that on YouTube it's definitely possible. I think
Yeah.
in the podcasting space, I would definitely say it's a marathon. And
Right.
and and I think it'll be years before you see any like logarithmic or like exponential growth. I think
Right.
for a little while it's gonna be a slog. And I think if
Right.
you approach it as 100-yard dash, you should probably approach it as a marathon.
Right, right. Actually, you told me that not too long ago, and it honestly it changed how I was doing everything. Because I'm 24, and so I'm watching like everybody around me graduate right now, and so it's like there's always this pressure to be the first to get to success, I
Oh
guess.
wow, okay.
Yeah, like there's that pressure of like I got to do it before, I got to do it while everybody else is in college and they're graduating. Once they're graduated, I need to be where I need, where I want to be in life. And honestly,
Oh.
that was unrealistic of me. And it wasn't until you messaged me and said, you're going to have to take this thing like a marathon. And ever since you said that, I was like, oh, I get it. Like I just started this thing. The podcast isn't even up. We're just doing lives right now. Like there's a long ways to
Oh
go.
yeah.
So, but
And you
it's
also have to
exciting.
prepare to create something and for 20 people to give a shit about it.
Right,
And
right,
you got to be okay with that. And at a certain point you'll have to decide, like, there's a lot of dead podcasts that are about cannabis that you go on to like Stitcher or any of these podcast feeds. You just search, you can find them.
right,
And some of them have big celebrities on them, and they went like a year or 2 years and then
right,
nothing.
right.
And you're like,
See,
damn.
for me, this is like it's something that I do that I enjoy, and so I was describing it earlier today. Anytime I do anything like podcasts, my lives. So I used to play sports. I actually almost went to college to play sports, but then I decided to change my gender, so that was cool.
Right.
Um, but um, those feelings of like you work at something for so long. I do a lot of editing behind scenes, even on stuff that doesn't even matter to me. I just enjoy doing it, and
Right.
so in a way that's a practice, but in a way the podcast or the lives, those are like game days, and so I kind of get that feeling like every time I get on one of these, and that's a feeling that I'll chase for forever. I don't care if there's only like two people listening, like that's the feeling that I enjoy.
Interesting. Okay. You view it
Yeah.
as like an exciting like task.
Yeah, yeah. It's just something I love to do. Like even like when I'm writing out the episode, like that part to me is fun too. Just I don't know. It's just like basketball to me. It's like getting ready for that
Okay.
game, and practicing what moves you might pull out. And that's kind of how like writing an episode is. It's practicing like what you're going to speak about and like how are you going to pull somebody's story that you know so well, because a lot of these people that I interview I know, and
Yeah.
so I know their story really deep, but how do I get it to where the audience can understand how good of a person they are, because I know that they're a good person, and I want to get that in 30 minutes, but these people are just so freaking awesome that like 30 minutes almost isn't enough time unless you really ask the right questions, or you talk about the right things, kind of thing.
Right. And you definitely want to find a way to showcase your guest.
Right.
And some people have a different view of their own success than maybe what is realistic. They'll tend to downplay it a little bit. So you have to figure out how to work within this artificial, like humble framework that they've constructed for themselves. And you got to figure out a way to kind of tease out like their accomplishments or like what you want to communicate to the audience is special or unique or interesting
Right.
about them.
Right, because I mean, ultimately, like I consider you my friend. So like when we get on here, it's like, how do I highlight my friend in the best way possible? Because
Right.
I
Oh, I
mean,
appreciate that.
we're all doing cool shit. So
Well, yeah, and I wanted to. So you. I actually went on to one of your YouTube videos to kind of catch up because I'm one of my YouTube accounts. I follow you, and I was like,
yeah,
man, I haven't seen Tye Tokes up in a while, and I was like, oh well, let me go back, and I'm like, oh, there's just one video I missed, and I'm like, oh, holy shit, he had
yeah.
fucking COVID and was working like 19 days straight and shit. It's like, so has that
Dude,
let up at all?
yeah, so actually I don't work for that company anymore, and so
Oh, holy
that's kind
shit.
of why, yeah, that's why I was like working so much, as we were opening up stores. We had opened up two stores that I had helped with,
Okay.
and so each time that we had to open up those stores, I had to put in a lot of extra time, and so that video may have been manically posted,
Oh boy.
but
Okay.
in a good way too, though, because like I preach about like being real and being raw, and so like that is like the real raw Tye. Like I was tired. I had COVID. I was
Right.
working a lot, so I'm not doing that anymore. I'm actually at a dispensary called Daisy's now, which we got
Okay.
some cool stuff coming up. But they're allowing me to focus more on the things that I love, which is the media part of it, and
Right.
and taking pictures and videography and getting my podcast up and going. They're so supportive of that. And not that Buds wasn't, but
Right.
it just
But they
I
wanted
have a
you to
little
come
bit more.
administrate. So are you an administrator now at Bud at Daisy's or just
No, I'm a bud tender.
perfect.
Yeah, I may take on a role like that one day. I don't know. But I do know that we're a little bit more on the same page as far as like what my vision is. I think I
Right.
was a little unsure of my vision while I was working for Buds, and so now I've taken a month off. I worked for DoorDash, and then I just did a couple like marketing gigs.
Okay.
Yeah, so I got like some time for myself, a whole month of it, and so I really grounded and figured out like where I wanted to go in life, and so I was able to like actually communicate that versus kind of holding back and kind of doing what society wanted me to do. But now I'm like, this is what I'm good at, this is what I'm doing, and like if I can get somebody that's on the same page with me, then we're rocking and rolling, kind of thing.
Well, and once you've done like a straight 9 to 5 or like more, like you were doing, like a really hard job, like if you ever get to a point where you need to go out and chase money, you can go do that again. But you
Right.
don't have to do that right now. If as long as you've got a roof overhead, like if you're sleeping in a tent on the back of a Subaru, then maybe you should go, you know what I mean? But if you're not doing
Right.
that, then you're fine. Just do your thing.
Right. That's actually the goal, though, is to sleep in a tent in the back of a Subaru. It's funny that you say that.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, I mean, like not full time. I mean, you're not,
No, yeah,
you
no,
don't want to
yeah.
be there full time.
Right, right. Yeah, no, but that is the goal, is to like get enough like marketing and hopefully a podcast up and going that's can be successful. Um, Granted, I know it's going to take me a minute, but that's the goal, is to be able to be where I can travel, and I want to like work for the state parks and stuff and take their pictures, and that way I can like stay there and take pictures and hang out at the parks all day long.
So that kind of answers my own question. I was going to ask if you have any plans on starting a garden again anytime soon, but it sounds like you've got so much travel on the mind that's probably not going to be possible.
Yeah, man, the garden failed me last year. Well, I failed the garden actually. God, I came home and those plants were just dry as can be,
Oh
and
yeah.
I was so sad. But partially my fault. I should have been watering at least like while I was there. But I was so like going all the time. I just didn't have a chance to
Yeah.
fully give the love that I needed.
To have a garden like and work like a full-time gig, you need to have, if not a predictable gig, you need to have a gig that allows you to take care of the plants like twice a day, even if it's just to look
Right.
at them and be like, y'all good? And if that,
Right.
is that it? Because like
Right.
sometimes, like especially indoors, you don't need to water every day. You do need to check like at least
Yeah.
once a day, not if not twice a day.
Right.
But you definitely need to check once a day. And if you can't do
Yeah.
that, you're setting yourself up for problems.
Yeah, yeah, I wasn't hardly home, man. I was 2 hours away in
Oh yeah.
Ardmore, and so like I was working half the week there. I did get a solid deal where I got to do like a couple days of just marketing, but even then I wasn't home long enough with events and whatnot that I had to plan and be at, and so it was sad, but I want to give it one more shot. So, maybe this summer because I will be home like this summer probably. I'm probably gonna try to give it one more shot just because
Okay.
I know I'm gonna have like some camping trips in the fall. I want to get my buddy. We went on a hike one time. It was supposed to be a 3 mile hike. It ended up being a 7 mile hike. But
Okay.
yeah, like he's just one of those stoner dudes that I enjoy hanging out with. So we're gonna get something planned up this winter, so that way, or I guess next winter, because it's already too late, but next winter, so that way I'll have good smoke for him.
Right, right. Yeah. I was talking to a buddy, my buddy Scuba Steve, who's actually been on the podcast, and he was like, "Oh, let's do a big road trip. I'm gonna like custom out my VW so it's like a half off-road like lifted car." I'm like, "Okay,
Oh,
cool."
sick.
And we were gonna drive like out through Nevada and through the Badlands, out on Oregon 140 into Nevada 140, then down to Reno, and then through Sacramento or around there and out the 101, and then back up through Crescent City, and then up back up to here. And it's a lot of driving, and we're probably gonna end up camping for 3 nights. And he's like, dude, what are we gonna do? Like, we got to make sure we can buy weed. I'm like, buy weed, bro. Weed's legal in all those states. I can bring enough for us to smoke like that whole trip. Like it's
Right,
fine.
right.
Like I can literally like, so like what we just figure out what the like limit is. Like I think the limit in Nevada is an ounce. And I
Okay.
think so we each can have a fucking ounce of weed.
Yeah, you guys are gonna
Okay.
be set.
We'll
You'll
we'll
be
be
okay.
fine. Oh, and by the way, if we run out in California, which crazier shit has happened, like on camping trips, you smoke a lot
Right,
of weed, especially at night. But like, if we do run out, we're not going to run out in Nevada. We're going to run out in California. We'll be
right.
fine. We'll be
You'll
able to
be
find
okay.
weed, bro.
It may be a little bit more expensive. I don't know how expensive it is in Oregon, but California is pretty pricey. But I mean, you're gonna have weed.
Yeah, that's true. He's rich. I'll let him pay.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. He's set.
Yeah. I don't
And
know.
when
I
are
don't
we
know how we're
going
gonna work
again?
out that trip. I don't know how we're gonna do it. I think I'll just fill up the car every so often because I know we'll be
Right.
paying for our food separately. So I don't know how it'll probably, I think it'll be end up divided gas, I think is how we'll do it.
Do you
Which
have an?
is, what's that?
I don't know if we can talk about this on here, so if you need to edit it out. But do you have an LLC for this, for your
No.
podcast? Dude, get an LLC. Get your gas paid for.
Yeah, I don't, it's honestly, until this makes any kind of money, it's not worth filing the paperwork because it costs,
Gotcha.
I don't know what it costs in Oregon, but it costs any amount of money.
Right.
And it's for something that has no positive cash flow. I'm not gonna like
I
drain an
got you.
imaginary weasel, if that makes sense. I don't know.
No, I get you. I get you. See, I started like I have a whole new brand that I've made.
I'm gonna leave this in, by the way. So just keep talking.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's honestly good shit. Like I could talk about business all day long, but uh, so I created a brand. It's called IPOY, which stands for I'm proud of you.
Okay.
Um, just because I'm really motivational. I try to like be super positive, upbeat, whatever. But I asked about an LLC because I got one for that, so that way, because I figure I'll make a couple dollars off of that. But my gas is paid for now if I do like any like business meetings or whatever.
Okay. Yeah, I have to look into that.
Right.
Honestly, I haven't been traveling much for the podcast. When I do go back out to Oklahoma to see family, I'll probably work in seeing some people like you, probably record in person with you. Go
Dude,
out and say,
please.
go out and meet Evan in person, and then see some other people. I definitely want to explore Oklahoma City, but my town in Oklahoma is more Tulsa. Like
Gotcha.
that's where I kind of grew up. I grew up going to Bell's Amusement Park and
Gotcha.
going to Coney Island. Or did you ever make it up to Tulsa?
Dude, I haven't been since that day, so I was like door dashing and stuff up there, but now I'm back in McAllister. But I need to go because that's like a staple of Tulsa.
Dude, Coney Islander is the absolute best. I listen. If you write a book about hot dogs or whatever in America and you don't include Coney Islander, you're a hack and a fraud.
Dude, I'm gonna look for a book now just about hot dogs so I can see if they mention it.
There is. I'm actually talking shit about that's a very niche podcasting joke. You either know what I'm talking about or you don't. I'm not calling this
Gotcha.
bitch out. She'll sink me. She's a vicious, violent felon. She's dangerous. Okay.
Right.
Um. But like, speaking of violent felons, what do you think about cannabis and the Second Amendment? Do you have an opinion?
I for me, I think that oh, so when it comes to anything politics, I think that if you're not hurting somebody, I'm pretty much okay with it. I do think that I think that you should be able to smoke your joint wherever you want to smoke a freaking joint, be able to carry your gun wherever you want to carry your gun, love who you want to love. Like that's my politics. You know what I mean? Like,
I do.
yeah, I'm very, very like in the middle person. I want everybody to get along and have their own rights while being a healthy civilian because cannabis is ultimately medicinal for some people. So for those people, I want them to be able to have their medicine, but also be able to protect themselves if needed.
Yeah, that's a very enlightened take. I actually completely agree with you. Yeah, I think
Nice.
it shouldn't be an issue. So we're on the same page. I think it should be, kind of like alcohol, if anything else.
Right, right.
So, what do you like to have on a baked potato when you have a baked potato?
Dude, I love a loaded like barbecue, ranch, bacon, pulled pork, like go
Oh,
ham
damn,
baked
pulled pork
potato.
on the damn thing.
Dude, yeah. No, you said baked potato, and I was like, ooh, we're going all the way with this one.
Okay.
Like one of those that you get from like a fair, like a food truck. Oh, that sounds delicious right now.
I
Got the munchies now.
had a baked potato last night and I was having trouble filling out the questions for the podcast. And I'm
Yeah.
like, you know what? Just fill it with food. Everybody likes food. I'm thinking about food. I was hungry. And after
I'm
I
dead.
wrote the questions, I literally went and I baked a potato. But all I had on it was butter and hot sauce and salt and pepper. That's it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
I'm
it's
so
fine.
sorry.
The only thing I would have added to that, dude, is sour cream.
Okay.
I'm not like an intense like if there's bacon bits around, like I'm not gonna say
Right.
no, but I'm
Right.
not gonna manufacture or purchase bacon bits in order to have them
Got you.
on my baked potato. It's a whole step of things I'm not gonna do. To set like I'm like I could just
Got
have
you.
it without that shit. That's how I get there.
See, if it was like if we're just getting just like, what we got around, I'm getting cheese, ranch, and at least salt, and that I can eat. You don't
See,
gotta have
that is interesting. See, I'm not always a big cheese guy. Like I like a cheeseburger,
really.
but a hamburger is also fine. And on a hot
Oh.
dog, I really don't want cheese on it. Even if it's got chili, I usually don't want cheese.
You just shook my mind with that, like literally, because I love cheese. I could eat
Mustard,
just cheese.
chili, hot sauce, onions, stop. I don't even need your relish. If it's in there, I'll deal with it. But honestly, you can keep that shit too.
Honestly, I agree with the relish. I'm not a huge fan. You can keep that.
Every once in a while, on like a Chicago style dog, a little bit of relish is fine.
Yeah.
But other than that, like,
No, I
I'm
can't with
good.
relish. It's got to be dill relish. Like I can't just have this sweet. Oh.
Dude, I feel that. I feel that. I feel that. I feel that.
It's
So,
like,
like, after you eat your giant hot dog at
yeah,
Coney Island, you're gonna go out in the parking lot and you're gonna roll a giant blunt. What's your
for sure.
go-to blunt wrap these days, or what are you splitting open? What are you doing for blunts?
Dude, I only do hemp wrap. So
Okay,
I did get a judgy comment from a friend. She was like, "Well, you hit your nicotine vape, but I don't smoke tobacco products other than like I do hit my nicotine vape, but
interesting.
I don't like tobacco products. I used to smoke them all the time,
Yeah.
and I noticed I was coughing all the time. I
Mm-hmm.
got stomach ulcers a lot,
Oh
and
yeah.
so I think that it's because I used to smoke Swishers and stuff like that. I don't know if I should be name dropping brands,
Oh,
but
you're fine. Like I like listen. I've been on a white owl kick recently. That's why I was asking. I've
gotcha.
literally been hand breaking them open and like wrapping and gramming them. Like I used like back at. So I never used to
Yeah,
smoke blunt back in the day. Actually, like back in the day, I'm nostalgic
right,
for a time that wasn't. I was in the
right.
army. I wasn't smoking weed. But then
Gotcha,
then I get out and I want fucking I can't drink because my liver's kind of shit. So like
gotcha.
but a blunt gets you kind of ooh. So like
Right, right.
tobacco snuck its way back into my life through these white owls, these white grape white owls.
Well,
I
see, you
love them.
smoke your tobacco, but I also drink an IPA every now and then. So I think we're even playing fields right now.
Yeah, maybe. So what are you excited for this winter?
This winter, honestly, we've got some stuff at the shop that's coming up that I can't announce yet, but keep a lookout for that. And then I am going to spend all December recording for YouTube. So
Okay.
I'm very excited. I've got a couple farms that I'm going to go visit. I've got a couple. I'm planning on getting with a friend, a really close friend of mine that has a he does like RSO capsules, like FICO capsules and stuff like that. So if my friends are listening, then they'll know exactly who I'm talking about. But I'm planning on asking him to do some behind the scenes of like they have like a lab and stuff like that, and I just want to get like behind the scenes cannabis like insights for the YouTube.
Okay.
Yes, my winter's just going to be work, honestly.
Hey, that's not bad though. It's some of the work's artistic, right? That's fun.
Oh right, I think that anybody that does podcast, YouTube, content creators, that is 100% an art, and it takes a lot of time. So if you're out there doing that, kudos to you, because like you said, sometimes you got to do it for like 20 people, and sometimes that's hard. But keep pushing it. It's fun. It's
It
cool
is
to.
fun.
It is fun. Yeah, it's cool to get to talk to people and like get to know different folks and what they do too, and like how things are made. I'm obsessed with that shit.
Well, it's interesting. It's interesting you say that it's cool to talk to people. And honestly, like I'm not gonna say I'm retired, but like I'm
Right.
disabled to a certain degree.
Gotcha.
Um and so like this started out, my buddy asked me to be on his radio show, and I was like, okay, whatever. And it turned out really good.
Right.
And then I was like wanting to say stuff on the radio show that, like, frankly, he just didn't want me to say. And then other
Gotcha.
stuff the FCC didn't want me to say, right? Like,
Right.
and not even like anything bad, just you can't say fuck. I can't say fuck the politicians. I can't say I want to blow
Right.
blunt smoke in Jeff Sessions' face. Like, I can't
Right.
say
Right.
that shit. I can say that shit here.
Right.
Obviously, that's not a realistic, actionable thing. I'm never going to Washington D.C. or Virginia fucker wherever the fuck he's from. And I'm definitely never going to the fucking weird inbred swamp that he crawled out of. So like at the end of the fucking day, I can say that on here, and the
Right.
FCC can't do a shit about it. I can also smoke weed like actively
Right.
on here, which I can't do on the radio show.
Right.
Um,
Right.
so that's and this makes me happy, and this gives me an excuse to talk to people that honestly I don't think would talk to me if I didn't have a podcast. Like
Okay.
it
Yeah.
like I get to ask people questions. I get to be sometimes I get to be intrusive. I get to ask
Right.
them what I want to know. Like people will be
Right.
like, ask him this. Like, I don't give a fuck about that, bro. I want to ask him this. I want to know what he eats on a baked potato. You want to know about organic gardening practices? Sit the fuck down. Who's got the microphone? You know what I mean? Like, and
Right.
so like it's one of those things where it becomes my own thing and it becomes something different than what other people are making, which I enjoy. But it's also a hobby horse. It's
Yeah.
definitely not a business. There are
Right.
decisions and things I say on here that I wouldn't say on here if I expected this to make money, if that makes
Right.
sense. Because
Right.
eventually I one would think I would have an eye for advertisers, and this show
Mhm.
is not advertiser friendly. I'm like, I don't like products. I like blunt wraps and bongs. Like you buy a like it's not like shit that you're gonna make a lot of money on. You know what I mean?
Right. Right. No, I get you. I guess that's kind of why like Tye Tokes was created too, though. Is kind of like in a way I can be authentically me. I can post what I want to post. I can cuss
Right.
on there. I can say whatever the fuck I want, but I can also just be me, which is the best gift in life is the opportunity to be yourself, because that's the one thing that you have that you can master by the end of it all. And so that's just kind of why I created that. And then also, like you said, just getting to talk to people. And I've gotten to smoke with some really cool people that, like you said, you just get to ask them questions that nobody really gets a chance to ask. And that's ends up being something really cool to just think about sometimes.
Yeah. So that last YouTube video I
Yeah.
watched, and you were in this hotel and you were dabbing. I'm no,
Yeah.
and of course I'm not gonna ask you to blow up your spot, right? Because the
Right.
hotels that tolerate slash love us are beautiful,
Right.
special places, and you figure out that shit for yourself. Because listen, if only 5 people listen to this podcast, if only
Yeah.
5 people listen to it, those 5 people will start booking a room at your fucking hotel and they'll blow up your
Right.
spot. But did they charge you with a room charge?
So honestly, I didn't pay for that room. So
Okay.
yeah, I got it paid for the dispensary I was working for because
Oh, holy
I
fuck.
yeah, because I got COVID while I was out of town, and they were like, "You're gonna have to stay in a hotel," because my girlfriend she runs one of their other shops, and so they were like, "You're gonna have to stay in a hotel. Like we can't have you guys like staying together or anything like that." So they paid for me a room. They did me really good. They delivered food to me. It was really nice. So I don't know if
Nice.
we got a charge, but I definitely was sending videos of me hitting bongs and stuff in the group chat, so they all knew what I was doing.
Okay, all right. So like, okay, so you don't know. That's a good thing not
Yeah,
to know about.
right.
So like I'm joint boy on vacation. Like, so I
Yeah,
guess I shouldn't be giving out my secrets, but I'm going to.
yeah,
So what
no,
I do is before I roll up to Washington to go visit Carlos or Scuba Steve, up to Washington State, like it's up north from me. Anytime I go
right.
up there, if I spend an overnight, I don't roll on an overnight with anything less than like an ounce of weed.
I don't blame you.
Because like it just that I don't smoke. I'll also maybe smoke an eighth when I get there or a
Right.
quarter ounce. But like I got like a half ounce rolled up in joints, and then I've got like a sack somewhere. Like I'm ready to
Right.
go, and that way it just greases everything. And if you show up at the party, and you're the guy that like is handing out like lit joints to people,
Right.
it has a way of opening doors like nothing else does. I don't know what to say.
Oh, I
It's
love it.
so like, and especially if you and then they're like, "Where'd you get this?" And I'm like, "I grew it," and they're like, "Oh shit,"
Right.
and that
Right.
carries a. I never looked at it this way, but it does carry a certain social cachet,
Right. Well,
especially
I
if you're
know some.
homegrown.
Oh yeah, if somebody pulls up and they're like, "I grew this and it's really fire stuff," I'm like, "I don't know who the fuck you are, but we're friends now."
Even
Like,
dude, I don't give even if it's mids, if it's
yeah.
smokable and
Right.
you grew it, that's awesome. Because
Right. Right.
listen, you can grow a plant all the way to the end and still turn out some unsmokable garbage. You really can. And so like if you grow weed that's smokable, man, you're 90% master grower status in my eyes. I mean, not really, but you know what I mean?
Oh, I
Like,
lost you, dude.
oh no, where'd you lose
Yeah,
me?
I lost you right when you said like you had just gotten done saying that even if it's mid, like it's still good, like
Oh,
you still
all I
grew
was
it.
saying is even if someone grew like decent tasting smokable weed, Like
Right.
I'm just there for it, even if it's not the best ever. Because
Yeah.
home grow, even if it's only as good as the stuff you get at the dispensary, it's still like ethically better because it's like not produced at scale. It's like, you know what I mean? There's all kinds
Right.
of reasons why it's better to get something at home.
Yeah, for sure.
And you and I and everyone has established that none of the home growers are going to put the dispensaries out of business. It's not going to happen.
No, there's people, there's home growers that come in all the time and they're like, yeah, I grew this, and they show us, and I'm like, that's sick. Like, it's cool that they're like still like, yeah, I'll take your top shelf eighth because they still want good smoke, but sometimes it's just nice to smoke something that you didn't grow. It's nice to appreciate somebody else's art.
I agree with you. And what, but my habits definitely change based on how much weed I have. Cause I haven't, like, I honestly, it's the end of the year and I'm on a fixed income. So at the beginning
Yeah.
of the year, it seems like I have more money than at the end, especially with all this inflation. So, like, I haven't been buying weed. It was also just harvest time. So I've got gifts, I've got weed I grew, I've got hash that someone gave me.
Hell yeah.
It's the best time of year if you're a home grower with lots of home grower friends. And
Right.
so, like, there's no reason for me to go out and spend money on cannabis, especially when I was able to get some like biscotti and stuff that's a little more sativa leaning from a friend. So
Right. Right.
so even my partner, my wife's covered as like her smoke. So we're golden, dude. So we don't have to buy
Oh, that's
weed for
cool.
like, I'm hoping like 3 months. I'll try to keep her out of the dispensary on 4 months though, because I just pulled some Tangerine Dream that smells fire out of this little micro grow in here, dude.
Dude, that's sick. No, your plants looked beautiful, and I am not surprised that you grew some really nice stuff because that those plants were so fucking gorgeous, dude.
Yeah, they were. Were the outdoor ones or the indoor ones?
The outdoor, man, the
Oh,
outdoor. I have not seen anything that like on that scale, honestly, because people around here they grow like big plants, but not on the scale that you did, or at least what I've seen.
so there's a couple things about growing that big. It doesn't. I'm gonna phrase this. It doesn't make sense unless you're dealing with plant counts.
Gotcha.
Um, and there's a couple other situations where it makes sense too. Like, so
Yeah.
I have limited to 10 plants.
Okay.
Um, but next year I might only grow 4 photo periods and I'll grow other autoflowers outdoor. But like growing big
Nice.
plants is something that I'd seen other growers do
Yeah.
and I wanted to do it. And the biggest plant actually saved me this year because remember, toward the end of the season, my plants got hit with mites really hard. I had to get rid of a lot
Yeah.
of flower got destroyed and stuff. And even the tips on that big plant and that 45 gallon, that big like 8, 9 foot tall plant,
Uh huh.
yeah, it was still like 20 ounces on that motherfucker.
Jeez, dude.
Yeah. So like when
Hey.
you see those plants when they finish and they have the bud all the way to the stem
Uh
and
huh.
they're big balls,
Yeah.
you're talking a plant that size, you could pull 2.5, 3 pounds off of it easy.
That's insane.
Oh yeah. So
That's
that's
exciting.
yeah, but see the you have to start the motherfucker in February.
Right.
Well, not February. Well, I started it in February. I probably could have started it in March. Started
Yeah.
in March. I cut a clone off of it. I rooted the clone. I flipped the clones as soon as they had roots, figured out which were female, killed the males, then sat with the plants for a while, figured out which one I was going to give to my friends and which two I was going to keep,
Right.
kept the two, then put them outside and they were already almost 3 feet tall.
Jeez, my guy. God dang. I'm trying to get like that next year.
Okay. So what you need to do now, because it's what is it,
Yeah.
November?
Yeah.
Okay. So what you need to do now, if you want to grow plants that big, and listen,
Uh,
they draw attention. Okay.
right. Right.
I live in a neighborhood where my plants are not even the only plants on my block that poke over the fence. Okay.
Oh shit.
Okay. So like it's a different thing in Southern Oregon in
Right.
October when you've got 3 foot of flowers poking up over your fence
Uh-huh.
versus in Oklahoma, right?
Right.
Okay. I'm not trying to say anything about Oklahoma, but like people might
Oh yeah.
steal your shit.
No,
Um,
where I live, we call it methalister. So
oh yeah,
yeah,
they'll probably
yeah,
steal your shit. So what I would
probably.
do, and honestly, it's hard because you have to trellis it and you have to select. You have to kind of like depending on what the wind conditions are, like what you're gonna
Right.
trellis and like. So like I had to drive T posts
Yeah.
around they're 8 foot T posts.
Jeez.
And then in June, I trellised the plant out at the midpoint of the T post. By July, it had reached the top, but I trellised that. Then it stretched. And then I added like metal coated stakes that I
Yeah.
zip tied to the top of the T posts and then added trellis nets onto that.
Damn, my guy.
So that's how you get them that big.
Yeah. Yeah.
You just keep. Okay,
Stacking.
trellis.
Yep. Yep.
Or I also had a plant next to it that yielded what was it, like a pound and a half in a 30-gallon pot. And that was a
Damn.
CBD Dutch treat. And that one I used my old flexible to trellis, which is 5 of those metal stakes uh strung together in a certain way with garden twine so where they bend with the wind, and that plant got almost as tall as the one in the 45-gallon. So next year I'm thinking about growing 4, and I think I can pull like 5 pounds off of 4.
Ah, that's crazy. Do you guys have like, so we have, you grow, you can have 6 adult plants, you can have 6 seedlings,
Yeah.
but then you can only have up to 3 ounces of flower, which is
Oh yeah.
crazy because it's like, well, your plants, are gonna give you way more than that. Do you guys have something similar to that?
Yeah. So I'm a medical patient. So in Oregon,
Gotcha.
I'm going to tell people the rec laws just so they can understand. Because
Right.
baseline in Oregon, anybody can have 4 plants and finish 4 plants over and over again. I think
Yeah.
you can have 4 mature plants and I think 4 seedlings. I don't know the rules on the rec. I've never been a rec grower. 4 isn't enough for me to play with. Right
Gotcha.
now, I've only got 1, but like when I'm selecting seedlings for outside,
Yeah.
like a lot of that shit I give away, I don't grow because it doesn't look
Yeah.
right or it's not the best one or whatever. So,
Okay.
and people have grown out my giveaways and they've been fine. I'm selecting how I select and people are happy for the free plants usually. Sometimes the first year I had trouble giving them away, but now I have an easier time because people I think trust me more to sex them because I've been growing longer. I think
Okay.
initially no one wanted my plants because I don't know if they didn't believe in feminized seed or if they didn't trust
Gotcha.
me to sex them or whatever. But now everyone just takes my shit because I haven't given anyone a male. So,
Nice.
but yeah, the plant count. So you can have 4 here. You can grow out 4. They're gonna be as big as you want. But I don't know what the rec possession limits on or in Oregon. I probably should, but I don't. So I'm a grower, so I can have like I can have 2 pounds on me. But
Shit.
but
Nice.
but I don't know like why I would like well,
Right.
that's not true. I have had well the most anyway, I'm not gonna say that anyway, but the most whatever that I've whatever,
Right. Right.
but no, I can have like 2 pounds, but
Sick.
in theory, that's just to take it to a patient, I think is why they have that. So
Okay.
within like growing at home for yourself, there's
Mhm.
some conflicts kind of written into the law.
Okay.
So so this is where it gets weird, right? So I've read different versions of the law and I've gone into the regulations and I've read all 3 of these separate things, okay?
Okay.
Okay? Or okay, I've read that you're allowed to have what is it, like 20 ounces or 18 ounces or something like that, which is like a pound and a half or a little over 20 ounces, right? As a medical
Right.
patient, right? Okay. Well, I'm a medical patient, so I can have 20 ounces, right? But wait, if you're a grower who's growing for yourself at home, I've also read that you can keep 5 pounds per plant.
Oh shit.
But I've also read on the Oregon State website that you can also keep whatever it is you're able to grow.
See, Oklahoma's so whack. We don't even have that much. So at least you have three
But see,
options.
Oregon has made it specifically, I think, muddy. So
uh,
here's what I'll tell you. Well, no, I think I think it's just to make enforcement difficult. I don't know. Oregon's fucking weird. I don't know I don't know what who like the laws are pretty generous to growers. I can so because I have 6 on my medical card and then my wife can have her 4, I can have 10 flowering plants,
uh-huh.
right? I can have I think it's I never have this many, so people I don't know my upper limit because I never have this many plants, but I
Right.
think I can have 24 immature plants and like 10 mature ones, I think.
Oh shit, nice.
So like when people are like, "Oh, Uncle Dig started a 20 seed, run of bag seed. Is that illegal?" I'm like, "No, especially not the way I did
Right.
it because half of them didn't work and I killed a lot of them. So I
Right.
only
Right.
finished 2. So yeah, that's totally you have enough to where you can do like a pretty decent like home pheno hunt where you can pop 20 seeds and pick your
Very
favorite and
cool.
you're not going to get in trouble. And honestly, even if there was like a standard like cannabis like possession limit like at your house, if you grew at your house, no, I'm not a lawyer. Okay, everyone, listen, folks, I'm
Drop your
not a lawyer.
bloodlines.
I'm not a lawyer. I'm a podcaster. Okay, I was in the army. I don't even have agricultural credentials. Okay, but I can grow weed. I've done it. I have the pictures to prove it. And I also have some weed we can smoke right here. But not a
Facts.
lawyer, not a law enforcement expert. Okay. We got that out of the way. Okay. Disclaimer, disclaimer. Now, anyway, now I'm going to talk out my ass anyway. Um, if you have your weed and you've cured it at your house and it's in jars or whatever, labeled with year and shit like I do, and you've got your log book and I can fucking show the dirt where it was growing and shit. I don't think anyone's gonna fuck with you.
Right.
I really don't. If you have like 3 pounds instead of 2 or whatever the fuck, I don't think anyone's gonna fuck with you. I don't think the sheriff gives a shit. Honestly, I think who he's worried about and who a lot of people are annoyed with are these growers up in the hills that are not licensed and are growing like thousands of plants and, you know, annoying people. I don't know. I don't I kind of I have a weird perspective on the outlaw growers up in the hills. Um I don't necessarily like the way they're doing things, but because they're up there distracting the sheriff's not bothering home growers. So like, I don't know.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, fuck
Yeah.
that guy. Go get him, sheriff. Yeah,
Right.
go there and get him.
Yeah. Yeah. We're
God,
not
what the
doing
fuck?
anything over
Yeah,
here.
like I don't know. But at the end of the day, like there are some troubling labor practices in some of those outlaw grows and stuff. I get it why
Right.
people are upset. But I don't want to talk to the sheriff.
I don't blame you. They
I
scare me.
just I don't want to talk to the sheriff about my grow. I'll happily show him around, but fuck, I don't want to.
Right.
It's just one of those things. But like I said, if you don't do anything wrong, I don't think anyone really checks on you. Like, I've never had, and knock on wood, but I've never had an inspection. But I've gotten my card, my grower card displayed in a prominent area of my house, so people can see that this is a cannabis production place. And I've got fucking all the shit. I've got fucking um like 2 locks between all that shit. I've got all that stuff going on. Like I keep fixing this fucking fence and staying compliant and shit.
Right. Right.
But no one's ever checked, man. Like
Nice.
no one's ever checked. And if they have checked, they haven't bothered me. Because
Good.
like honestly, if you wanted to, you could probably come to a certain part of my property and just
Right.
stand on a step stool and see very quickly that I'm compliant.
Nice. Well, that's
I mean,
good.
outdoors anyway. But I mean,
Right.
like I said, I'm not doing much damage in a single car garage. It's just
Right.
not happening. Like I'm not gonna become the next kingpin of whatever the fuck. I don't know what
Right.
they. And that's the other thing. A lot of people have been like a lot of smaller scale artisanal growing has been kind of priced out of the illegal rec market.
Mhm.
So like that's not who's supplying that anymore. For a long time, if you were getting outlaw weed from Northern California or Oregon and it was indoor, chances
Yeah.
are it might have been grown in some single mom's garage. You feel
Right.
me?
Right.
Like, and then at a certain point, like now, if you bought an eighth unlicensed from a buddy you knew or whatever in Tulsa, like it either came from a dispensary or got like sold out the back door, or it came
Right.
from Northern California or Southern Oregon on some cartel grow. Like
Right.
I'm
No,
not even
yeah.
playing. Like
No, yeah.
honestly, like and people are like, oh man, it's Cali grown. Like I always hear that shit all the fucking time. Like
Hmm.
people who are like on the outlaw market, like back in fucking Texas or whatever.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
oh,
Houston was bad about that.
it's fucking Cali weed, man. I'm like,
Putting
bro,
like
they
Cali
can,
stickers on
you
everything.
can buy those stickers by the roll in downtown LA. You know that, right?
Literally.
They got a whole market where you can buy fake weed branded
Yeah.
stickers. So you can
Right.
fucking take your fart carts and fucking
Yeah.
sell them. And listen to me. Like, I'm not even like, I don't care if it's illegal or whatever,
Right.
but what you're getting 9 times out of 10 isn't organic.
Right.
Like, even if it says it isn't from the Cali legal market. It's from some crusty ass shit covered hill in Humboldt, or
Yep.
more likely now, it's from fucking goddamn fucking cartel. And I'm not just talking about like these big giant operations. Hell,
Right.
I was reading the other day that like some natives out in the American West, like in I don't remember if it was Utah or New Mexico
Hmm.
or Arizona. Guys, I'm sorry, all your states are the same to me in my head. I'm sorry. I mean, I know weed's legal in Arizona, so I should give you more credit. And apparently,
Yeah.
Utah has a decent medical market, but I haven't
Okay.
had a chance to talk to anyone from Utah because I'm scared to talk to those people.
I understand that actually.
Dude, I'm scared of Mormons.
I actually have a friend that we joke around and say that we broke free from the cults. She used to be a Mormon.
Oh, okay. All right.
I was just Pentecostal, so
Oh,
yeah,
okay, wait,
just
hold on. Well, let's
yeah.
establish something here about
Yep.
Pentecostal. Which kind of Pentecostal? Were you the snake handling, can't wear like pants Pentecostal? Or
We
were you
weren't as
like
far as snake handling, but we were pretty bad.
the
One,
long denim skirts on the ladies, like jeans down to
yes.
the ankles? No,
Yup.
couldn't dance.
Oh yeah. Well, they would dance in church, but yeah, no. My grandma, she didn't cut her hair,
Oh
which was
wow.
really weird for me because of who I am, and so
Right, yeah.
she would try to force me in dresses. It was horrible, but I remember going to her church and like my grandma never did anything like athletic or anything like that. I seen my grandmother run laps around that church. Like what the it was crazy. They were just hooping and hollering, of course, but nothing against it, teach their own. But
Yeah,
as a child, ooh,
so my little brother had this Pentecostal friend growing. Of course, we were
uh,
kids, so it didn't matter. Oh, what he wears long pants, whatever. Let's go,
right,
fucking whatever, shoot paintball or whatever the fuck, right?
right.
Well, we were growing up. I was Methodist, and so pretty as far as Protestant religion goes,
Mhm.
pretty calm. Okay, like we
Right.
sing our hymns, right, politely, loudly but politely, and then we go home, right? There's an
Right,
organ. The organ makes the most noise, okay? There's a
right.
choir. It's very respectful. I mean, it's
Hmm.
not very far off from Anglican. Like my wife's like, "You're Anglican." I'm like, "No, no, no, it's different." But like, you know what I mean? So
Yeah,
like it's basically the Church of England but with like some different ethics thrown in, right?
right.
Okay.
Oh,
But
we
then my
love that.
poor Methodist brother gets invited to this church
Oh
service.
God.
I think the wildest thing he's ever been to is a Southern Baptist church. That's the wildest thing he's ever been exposed to. So
That's not bad.
he's wearing his little suit. He's got his little bow tie. He's got his
Oh
flat
God.
top, sitting
Yep.
on the front pew, and the
Right.
preacher comes out, and within 5 minutes, this church is alive. And my
Right.
brother, people speaking in tongues,
Yep.
like banging their head on the floor,
Right. And
ladies
it's so
open it, like
crazy.
ladies injuring themselves, and
Right.
my
Mosh
brother
pit.
starts crying. Just listen, I'm not gonna say, but like let's just say that my brother was not possessed with the spirit this day.
I gotcha.
He was having none of it. He could not. It was too. It was like, and here's the other thing. Everyone walks in like that's not what's gonna happen.
Right.
Everyone walks in like, oh hey, yeah, oh hey, Carol, oh
so
yeah,
friendly.
Like, whoa, what the fuck? Okay, here we go.
Right, and they're scared of rock concerts because, like,
dude, some of those sermons are wilder than like a G.G. Allen concert. Let me tell you.
Honestly.
Oh my gosh. But anyway, the point is I always thought that was funny that like my little brother's friend never even thought to warn him that. And it's just like you get used to what you get used to, right?
Right.
And for me, church was always, I wouldn't say calm, but it was always like, it wasn't like it didn't have like
where you go to say your prayers.
yeah, it was calm. It was a calm endeavor. It wasn't
right.
You could go to church and keep your head down if you wanted to.
Yeah. No, not in a Pentecostal church though.
Oh, that's intense. And I think there might have been an element of that. My poor brother wasn't having much of it, and then I think they were trying to like preach on him or whatever. I'm like, oh, poor kid.
No, yeah, I remember it was crazy.
That's fun though. If you're gonna go to church, you got to have a good time.
Yeah, no, for sure, and you got to make memories, and I made some memories.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Oh
man, damn, that was that. I ran out of stuff to ask you, and now we're talking about catching the spirit and speaking in tongues. So I think on that note, I think it's about time to get out of here. Tye, do you have anything you want to promote before we get out of here?
Honestly, just go make sure you're liking all my pages because there's some stuff coming up that I'm going to be working on. So just some podcasts and some YouTube stuff. So make sure you're following Tye Tokes on everything. Make sure you're following Uncle Dig. If you're from my pages, make sure you guys are following Uncle Dig as well. Cool cat. Love hanging out with you, man.
All right, Tye, thanks for coming to say hi. Thanks for being on Backseat Chronicles. I'll see you next time. Let's overgrow the world. You can reach me, Uncle Dig, on Instagram at Uncle Dig. The bumper music on this podcast was produced by Chad DeVilliers on ukulele. He can be followed on YouTube at Ukuleles Are Stupid or on Instagram at Chadwick Enterprises. Thank you for listening to the Backseat Chronicles.